Cock. I'll just say cock. Those who know. Those who don't need to worry about Moose Shit! Welcome to Moose Shit, where we spout bullshit. My name is Moose, and I'm joined by my calloused, capital, captive,
Wow,
calculative, caffeinated colleagues. Look at all those C words.
that was awful.
That was terrible. Can you just have a smooth intro for once?
It works. It's hard to come up with C words.
Why do you need to have a C word?
Alliteration.
Because of the alliteration.
Then find another letter.
What?
It's colleagues.
Oh,
What are the letters?
We don't have to be colleagues. We could be friendly friends.
Oh,
Wow.
friendly friends. That's smooth, Al.
you just judged his and you said that.
Anyways, how are you guys doing today?
Great.
Wonderful.
Al, what is this I'm hearing about a challenge that you're doing for yourself? A promise that you're keeping.
So, I have gambled in the past, right? And I've only gambled with like small amounts of money, but every time that I have, like I've won a few, but my net profit is negative. So
then it's not net profit, it's just net loss.
my net gain is negative. My net loss is lost. Okay, well I was trying to make Yeah, so I'm in the red, negative. So I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't gamble ever.
Okay. And now, do you want to now talk about the agreement that you made with Koob today?
Well,
You know,
the
one
agreement
that's
that I made
immediately-
is that I would give Koob $200. He would gamble it, and if we win, I would get some of the winnings. And regardless, in like 3 weeks, I would be getting my $200 back. So there's really no risk for me.
It's
because
just a loan.
Yeah, it's just a loan. In 3 weeks, I'm getting my $200 back whether I win or lose. It's up to him what he does with the money. I'm just loaning
but
it.
I mean, if the entire point of it is that you don't want to lose money, you don't want to be in a net loss, I don't
Yes.
understand how giving loans out is gonna put you back in the positive.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's still a chance that I might win. So that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, but there's also a chance that Koob just might not pay you. Not that I'm
But-
calling you an asshole. It's happened in the past.
I didn't even think about that. Good idea.
Well, he told me he would pay me. So I like to take my friends at their word and not assume that they're assholes.
Yeah, but I mean, other people that you have called friends have taken money from you and then just did not pay you back.
Yet.
Yeah, like scummy fuck.
Yet. Will. Don't worry.
I have to bleep. You have to bleep out that name, Al.
No.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna just call. We're
Right?
not gonna call him out.
Hear that? Dang, you didn't pay back
Yeah,
my boy.
it's just a guy that letter starts with a and has letters in his name, and went to see the movie with me like 8 months ago, and his ticket was $14, and he just never paid me.
This is such a passive aggressive way of actually asking for the money. You could have just actually asked for the money.
I did ask for the money, and he said he didn't have Venmo or PayPal or Cash App or anything.
That's just cap.
I know it's cap, but what am I gonna say to that? No, you're lying, and he says no, I'm not lying. And then what?
So the better way is just to use your podcast to say, "Yeah, you're a cheap fuck."
I'm not the one that brought it up, Mose. You did. I'm okay waiting until I hang out with him next.
He is a cheap fuck. Oscar, can I or Alex,
Oscar.
can I kidnap your dog, Oscar? That's where I was going with that.
No.
Oscar does not like you.
He
He told
does, bro. Every
he
time I
told me
come
that.
home, he like whines out of
Yeah,
excitement.
he's like, oh, this motherfucker's here, man.
No, 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 no.
That's what he's saying, bro. I'm telling
He
you.
comes up to me. Why would he come up to me if he doesn't want me?
He's trying to be like, yo, can you fuck off, man? Like, I don't even like you.
I don't think so. Oh, Moose. We're talking about Moose. Do you think I have ADHD?
Uh, no.
Because
The
I did
lack
a
of an
test.
immediate no should
Mm,
just tell you all you need.
I did a test, and some of the questions were very relatable. Some of them were not. Like one of them said, like, how often do you find yourself losing stuff?
very often.
Yeah.
Okay, what did the test say? What was your results?
Well, it came out as unlikely.
Yeah, I said you're gonna have slight ADHD
What?
because ADHD is on like a spectrum.
Ooh, Alex and his spectrums
Not
of
another spectrum.
Speaking of spectrums, you know some group that actually helps people who are on spectrums? Teachers.
No.
Moose, I think you got it wrong. They might be on the spectrum the way some of these teachers be acting.
How about you know what? So today's topic, we're gonna be talking about
Wait, that's just a hard cut?
yes.
Okay, you're directing it.
With that, I can like take out as much as I want.
You want to see a hard cut? Hee 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 hee. That was good, right there, right there. Ow, that's it.
I don't get the joke.
Well, because this is gonna be a hard cut. Well, anyways, today we're talking about teachers and students and school life in general. I just want to ask you guys, have you ever had like a really, really bad teacher? Like just the worst?
No,
Me neither.
Never? Really?
no.
Okay, guys, that's the
Obviously.
end of the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Honestly, I feel like 80% of teachers are bad, objectively bad. But then you start like going based off like all the teachers you have, and then you're like, yeah, he was pretty good. But in reality, shitty teacher, but you're like, yeah, he was pretty good
Bad
because
based off what?
Yeah, what's objectively bad?
no, like okay, so right, so what I would say like most people would think a bad teacher is like they're mean and stuff and all that shit. Like that's what some people kind of, but like when I say objectively, I just mean like their ability to teach you, right?
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of teachers, like I feel like a lot of them just don't teach you anything.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like after we go through like so much school, eventually you just start going through and you're like, yeah, like say if you were to rate your teachers from like the best all time to the worst all time, like certain teachers toward the top that you look at, they're like, damn, that wasn't even a good teacher, but it's just better than the rest, like because the rest were so shitty.
Maybe you just had bad experiences with teachers.
I mean, it's the same with students, so
Yeah, but I feel like a teacher's ability to teach is more on the student's ability to learn than anything else. Like
True.
there are bad teachers, like
yup, because students go to school. What do teachers go to school for? What do they learn at school?
I mean, I think it's a teacher's job to like it's sort of both, right? Like because it's a teacher's job to keep the student engaged and like it's responsibility on them to not have boring lectures or like lessons where the student wouldn't be engaged. But also if the student isn't even like if the student doesn't even care or
yeah,
won't even participate in a lesson that's designed to keep you engaged, then it's like there's
yeah.
responsibility on both ends.
So like in my one of my college classes, basically the professor really tries his best to like keep the class engaged. He calls on everyone's name, he learns everyone's names, he tries to have discussions with them and stuff like that. But there's just one kid in there who just does not give a single fuck about the class. And then I just have to sit there and ask myself, why is he taking the class then? Like, do you have a job lined up already outside of college and that's why you just don't give a shit? Because I simply don't understand why you would
I mean, I
choose to
think it
do this.
applies less to college. It applies less to college because let's be honest, once you reach college, like nobody really cares about their classes, even though
No.
like this can be like the basis of your like whole profession, and you'll sit through that class like this is boring. When can I leave?
True.
Yeah, but it's not even like he like just goes like, "Oh my god, it's boring. I can't wait to leave." Like he just like sometimes the professor asks him to do like simple things and he just says no, or like he just leaves class in like the middle of the
I mean, yeah,
period.
that's just him being like I can't be asked. Like this is it might not be boring, but he's just like yeah, like like he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that doesn't make the professor a bad teacher.
Then
Right.
what makes a bad teacher?
I'll explain to you what makes a bad teacher.
With an example.
You want me to use? I was going to describe it first, but I'll go with an example. Miss K, right? She was my English teacher in senior year. She's just a horrible teacher. And I have literal proof of this, right? So we used to do these things. It was like busy work, pretty. These assignments are a big part of your grade, and they're like weighted up really high. So, and it was just out of like this random book. Like you would read like a little short and then like answer these two questions. So eventually we like me and one of my friends that like she's not actually reading what we're reading, and then I was like, okay, I have to test it because I'm a genius. I tested it, right? So like on one of the papers, bro, I literally just wrote the same question or the same like sentence 10 times, right? I get it back, I got like a 90 on it. On a different one, I started writing like a story about one of the kids in class. So I started writing a story about him in the thing, and I turned that in, and I got like 100. I got like a good grade. But basically, like I was just like BSing them, right? And
Yeah.
then one day, like the person that I wrote the story about that was in my class, we all started getting our assignments back, right? And he got his back, and he got upset because his got a bad grade. So then he snatches my paper off my desk, and he was like, "Yo, he wrote about me and got like he just went off. He spazzed on the teacher." And it was just so funny. But that is just evidence that she's a
Wait,
bad
what did she
teacher.
say?
Bro, she had no response. She just sent him to the office.
Damn.
Really? Did she ever get in trouble?
No.
Bro,
We
what
got
do you
kicked
do
out
with that? That's like catching your spouse cheating. There's just nothing to say.
bro, you know how and then there was this one time where like we're just sitting in class, right? No assignments or anything, and I'm sitting next to one of my friends, and then she asked me to like move back my seat. And I was like surprised because uh like I went to sit there every day. Like this was like randomly she just told me to go back to my seat. And other people moved. So I was like, why? Like I didn't even do anything. And she was like, just because. And I was like, but everybody else is in a different seat. And then she was like, okay. And I was like, so why do I have to move? And then she just kept like, and then I started getting mad because I was like, why are you making me move for no reason? And then what's it called? So I get up and I'm like talking to one of my friends as I'm walking towards the front class. I was like, yo, this is some bullshit. And she hears me and she's like, we can go to the office. And I was like, I didn't even do anything. You just asked me to move my seat to move my seat. But like that was just like that's just like the stupid shit that they would do that just like pisses people off. And
Oh
she's
my
just the
god.
perfect example of a bad teacher.
That was the same teacher that did that?
Yes.
She just
I'm
hates you.
surprised I never told you this. I'm surprised I never
No,
told you
I
this.
feel like I have heard it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I probably have. I probably have told you this story before, but it's just a good story. Like
Did you ever get those
the one.
essays again to do?
No, the thing is like that when we left for or we got kicked out because of COVID after that. So like our whole assignments like changed. But I remember the guy that I wrote the story about, he took those assignments with him to the principal's office, and I just never.
You never heard back?
No, I never got them back. Like
Oh,
he just took my assignments and then I never got them back.
that's like that's low key should be like fireable behavior. That's crazy.
Exactly. That's just a bad teacher right there.
See, I think Miss Math is the worst teacher. And for those
Miss Math.
listening, Miss Math is not a math teacher. It's just so happens to be that's what I'm going to be calling her, okay? If you know the name, then you know the name. If you don't
What
know the
kind of
name,
teacher?
I don't give a shit. She's a Spanish teacher.
Oh,
She's the fucking worst Spanish teacher I've ever fucking had. I actually hate her with a goddamn passion.
wow.
God.
I do too.
Fuck.
I do too.
Fuck.
I do not. But explain yourself.
So, junior year, right? This bitch literally did not teach at all. Like, I sat there in class doing literal bullshit because there was nothing to ever do. She did not care at all. Right. And so, there's a project year around the end of the year. And usually around the end of the year, those who are active in clubs are not in class that often because there's other shit to do, such as trips and projects and stuff like that. So on the day of a presentation, I just so happen not to be in class. And so usually what she does is she says, okay, for those who are not in class, they can just make it up later on. And so I tried making it up. She did not let me make it up. And so eventually I just got a 0 on that entire project. And overall, there were maybe 5 grades in that during that quarter, which means at 0 brought me down to a fucking C in that
Oh,
last quarter.
did you ever ask
And
to
like,
make
Like
it
a
up?
C overall? Like a C overall?
no, a C in just that quarter. Because
Oh,
again,
okay,
she did
okay.
not give a shit. I was passing with flying colors with the rest of the course.
Actually, now that you think about it, it reminds me. I think Koob, you were in my class too. There were some days where it was S and V that would just
Alex,
speak
this
to
is the
her.
whole point why she was a bad teacher. You remember how?
That
Okay,
was
so this is we all had this teacher. Like we get into that class, and the thing is, like for the 2 years of Spanish before that, so like we took Spanish in 8th grade for the whole year, and our teacher he's a dickhead, but I actually liked him, so I'm not gonna mention him in the
Mr.
worst
P.
teachers. Yeah, he was cool, but like he actually taught us Spanish. Like most of what I
Mhm.
know about Spanish was from him. And then we had Miss B who taught
Nice.
Spanish too. That was freshman year. And she was pretty good too. Like
Hmm.
you actually learned a decent amount. And then you go to Miss Math's class and then you're like this is shit. Like you forget everything. Bro, we would sit in. This is how the class would start. She would ask a question or something, some stupid ass question, and then you'd have to go around the room and give answers. Bro, people would purposely like. I remember, bro. I sat next to like this one girl and one of my other friends, right? And the whole goal was immediately the second she asked for volunteers, you put your hand up and you try to go as fast as possible so then you can go to sleep. I would just go to sleep afterwards. I throw my hand up in the air. I speak my broken Spanish because I was forgetting everything, and I'd go to sleep afterwards. And that was every day. And then you know what happened? She'd give an exam, and then everybody would fucking panic because nobody knew anything.
Bro, and then so that question of the day, there were some people in the class that would like do the dirty work of actually speaking to her and like creating a conversation with her, and then the goal of that conversation was to take up the entire 40 minutes of class. And
That was
it
the best
it
part.
works so often. It's crazy. She knew what she was doing, right? She just didn't want to teach, right? And so
No,
she
I
just
think
wanted to
she's just
speak.
incompetent. I think she's just
No,
incompetent.
no,
She
there's no
is
way.
incompetent, Alex.
There's no way she like can't
I don't know
understand
why
that
you
situation.
like her.
I I just
Oh, I know why. I know why. Okay, so me and Alex had the same class, right? So it
Mhm.
fucking, oh my God, this was such nonsense, right? So I started the year sitting in the back, sitting next to all of my friends, right? And then for some reason, I didn't even do shit. All I would do was I would finish the work and then I'd go to sleep. I would literally, like, one time she came by and she was like, she like taps my hoodie, and I was like, yeah. Like, I wake up because I thought it was one of my friends, and she was like, yeah. And then she was like, she says my name, and I was like, oh shit, it's her. So I put my head up, and then she was like, did you finish? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm just tired. Like, it's the end of the day, and I already finished my stuff. And then she moves me, like, when she rearranges the. And then Alex gets stuck on the side of the room that she actually liked, bro. There were two sides of the room, right?
Yeah.
There was one side, it was all females, right? And Alex. But he was on that side. And she liked everybody on that side. And then the further away from her that you got, the less she liked you.
Yep.
And I was stuck on the other side of the room.
I started the beginning of the year on the side that she liked, and by the end of the year, I was sitting on the complete other side of the room.
Exactly. That means she didn't like you, bro. She just be
I
moving
fucking
people.
hate her. She's the only teacher I have ever gone to like the guidance counselor over to complain about. And like I got there and the guidance counselor's like, "Oh, sorry, can't really help you. Teachers have complete control over grading. If it fucks over your GPA and your transcript, whoops, sorry, sucks, I guess." Oh my fucking god. I fucking hate her. And the worst thing is, the worst thing a teacher can ever do is just make you hate the subject that you're teaching, right? Like if you can go into any class just completely apathetic about the subject. That's was me about Spanish. Yeah, I didn't hate Spanish, but I also wasn't in love with it. But she actively made me hate Spanish and made me hate taking Spanish. Like I hated her class by the end of it, all because she was incapable of actually teaching a fucking class and instead gave you the grade that based off her opinion on you. And I didn't even fucking do anything in that class. God, fuck.
That was the problem. You didn't kiss ass. You had to kiss ass in that class.
Right. I didn't like her as a teacher, but I liked the class, so maybe that's where it's a mix up. I liked the class because there
Like
was
the
just
class, you
nothing to
didn't do
do.
anything.
I know,
Exactly.
that's why it was good.
Yeah, but then next year when you went into seniors class, did you not feel like it was unprepared?
I did, but
Exactly.
that's why I cheated in seniors class.
And then me and you, yeah, why don't you tell that story?
All right. So, all right. So it was this
Alex.
one day where we had this exam, this midterm, right? And it was like a good portion of our grade, and I didn't really understand Spanish like that. It was about some story that I didn't read because I had some cheat sheets on my phone, right? So I was relying on me just using my phone like I've always done. The classic, you put the phone in your lap while you're sitting, you look down on it for the answers, you write it down. And it was great because there was this one girl in front of me that was able to block his vision because he would say in the same seat the whole time. This day that girl was fucking absent. And there's just like a clear view to Senor. So I was fucked. But you know what? I couldn't do anything, right? I had to just go with my original plan. I didn't actually read the story. So I just went for it. I put my phone in my lap and I did it. And then next thing I know, I see Senor standing up and walking towards my direction. And I'm like, please, please. I quickly close my legs. And then he takes my paper and he says something like, oh, I'll be taking this. And he goes back to the front of the room, and I feel everybody staring at me.
I don't
Everybody's looking
remember
around.
this. We were in the same class. I don't
Yes.
remember this.
Well,
I don't
everybody's just
remember
staring
this.
at me as I get my paper taken away. And then I had to sit, because this was like pretty early on in the period. I have to sit the next like 30 minutes thinking about I'm gonna get a 0 on this exam. She's gonna report me to the office.
It's
I'm
he.
gonna what?
I'm sorry. You
You know
just
what
said
senor means, bro?
Well, that's what I never got in trouble like that before. So I thought I was gonna get a 0 on the test, 0 in the class, get reported, blah blah blah. And the whole class I was like in misery. And then at the end of the class, everybody turns their papers in And then I talked to Senor and I apologized. I say, oh, I didn't have enough time this week to
I'm
study,
sorry.
even though I did it every single exam. I didn't have enough time this week to study. And he said, like, oh, he's disappointed. But he's not, he said, he was very nice. He said he's not going to report it this time, but I am going to get a 50 on the exam, not even a 0. I was gonna get a 50. So even when my parents asked about it, like a week later, because they were still monitoring my grades, why I got a 50 on the exam, I was just like, yeah, it was really hard. I'm gonna try for next time. If I got a 0, I couldn't say that. So they still don't know.
White parenting right there, Moose. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
no.
Makes me
Yeah,
angry.
so I had a very similar story to Alex about Senor, and I have like
You
just
mean
2
the
points.
exact same? You mean
The
the
exact
exact
same, the
same?
exact same basically, except the end where Senor said, "Oh, I'm not gonna report in anything, nothing's gonna happen." But instead of giving me a 50, I just got a fucking 0, Al. So congratulations on your fucking privilege once again.
Maybe
God.
This
it's
parent
not privilege.
weekend.
Maybe you just didn't apologize profusely enough. Like I was like really apologizing. I was like gave an excuse about how I didn't have enough time and I'm going through a hard time right now. You just gotta lie
Now
better, Moose.
I could have given the greatest apology the world has ever fucking seen, but it wouldn't have changed anything. Okay?
Why?
I'm not even angry at Senor because Senor actually at least tried to teach the class, but he was relying on fucking Miss Math to do her goddamn fucking job, and she just dropped the ball
So,
so
so
fucking
Moose, why
hard
did you cheat? Why did you cheat if he actually was good at his job? Hmm?
Because he didn't
because
have
he,
the fundamentals, bro. That's the
yeah,
whole
bro.
point.
I think I've said this before. If you don't know how to add, how are you gonna multiply?
Moose,
Exactly.
it is not that fucking deep. Miss Math was not that bad.
Shut
She
up,
was
Alex. You
terrible,
just
bro.
admitted to cheating on everything, bro.
No,
You
on
And you're
cheating
saying,
on
just
"Oh,
all
said
of
it's
his
not that
you
exams.
just
bad.
said
It's
you
not
did not
that
know
bad."
how to do the class, and
I'm
other students in that class who had another teacher besides Miss Math were doing fine in the class. They weren't going out with flying colors because Senor teaches a pretty hard class, but they were doing better than anyone who took Miss Math.
Yo, you guys are just dumb. You guys are dumb, bro. Let me explain to you how you do it, right? So I also took Moore's class for 2 years, but unlike these two dipshits, I never got caught because Senor, if you're listening, I didn't cheat. I promise. Okay, right?
He's
So
lying.
senior year, this is what
He
I would
sent me
do,
the
right?
test.
Shut up. Even senior year. So what I would do since I started driving, right? So on days that we would have exams, I would just come in late. I would skip Senor's class, and you know what the funniest part? I would skip his class on the day of quizzes, and then I would go back to his class later in the day, because like my friends would have the class, and I would just hang out there, and he wouldn't even say anything. But when I take it during lunch, because that's when he'd tell me to come take it, he'd either tell me come during lunch or like take it while we're working on the next lesson. So I would go to take it during lunch, and then it would just be me and him, and I would still cheat.
Now, how do you not do the between the legs method? I thought that was a
No,
foolproof method.
see, I'm not dumb like you guys. I don't use my phone. That's the problem. You can't use your phone. And everybody gets caught using their phone. Alex, you had pictures of this shit. You just
Yeah.
gotta write it on like a post-it note or something. And what I would do, bro, I had like a little paper, right? I would slip it under my test at the start, and then like most of the tests were like double-sided or like stapled together. I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta flip the page. Bang, I'm cheating."
Wow. See, now that is
Yeah,
advanced cheating. I didn't go to school for that.
yeah, bro. Look at you using your phone. It was this amateur hour.
No,
Yeah, well,
I thought you were the master cheater.
I
God.
am the master cheater, and I never got caught after that.
The master cheater. The only time I got caught cheating, there was a master plot against me.
You want to
This is
tell
the
Against
that
biggest.
story?
Baldy. You can call him Baldy.
Yeah, fucking Baldy, man. Okay, right? So Baldy taught physics, and I was doing okay in physics. Like, I think me, Moose, and like one other person were the only intelligent people in. Everybody else was like just extremely clueless, right? So, it's the day
Baldy.
before a third a third quarter exam, right? And I'm getting ready to take it, whatever. And then my cousin, who's taking the class with me, sends me pictures of the exam. And I was like, yo, like this is the exam that we're taking tomorrow, not even like last year's exam.
It was like a midterm too. It was
And
like a really big exam.
yeah, it was like a quarterly. That's what it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
It was a quarterly, but like they had pictures of the exam. So like I didn't even think about it. I sent this to 3 people that like we would always do physics work together. So like that was the work I was gonna send it to. And then uh we just worked on
Baldy,
those
just
problems.
to let you know, Baldy, I was not one of them. Please don't lower your opinion about me, Baldy. Please.
Baldy does not have a cell phone.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Okay, right? So we go and we take the exam, it's all fine. And then like a couple of days later, I get called down to the office and they were like, "Yeah, like somebody took pictures of the exam." And I was like, "I don't know anything about that." So they send me back to class. And then they call me back down to the office during Baldy's period. And then they were like, "Yeah, we know you had pictures of the thing, and we know who you sent it to. Like, we see
Mm.
you sent it to this person, right?" And I was like, "How the fuck do they know this, bro?" And then they asked to check my phone, and I was like, "Okay, here." There was nothing on my phone.
Why? You deleted it?
Uh, yeah, obviously, as soon as I'm done, as soon as I'm finished cheating, bro, I was concerned. I was like, "Yo, why you go phone, bro? Like, I got private shit on here."
All right, so they went through your
And I
phone.
was,
They didn't see anything, and then what?
yeah, they didn't see anything, but then I still got in trouble. I got a 0 on that exam.
Really? Even though they didn't find anything?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, bro. They had a whole bro, Alex, they had a drawing, a chart of the spread of the exam.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, damn, these guys know what they're doing." I mean, I was like the girl so a girl snuck into his class after school and took pictures off of his computer,
That is wild.
and I got a 0. Only 3 people, bro. Like 20 people had the exam, and like 20 or like only 3 people, me, my cousin, and then my like the girl that took the picture. We got zeros.
See, I also cheated in that class, but not with the picture of the exam. I cheated by using my calculator, my high-tech calculator, which has
I mean,
no
yeah,
in
I
it.
did the same thing. I did the same thing.
Oh,
Right? You go put it into the thing because you could write with letters and shit
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So type out everything you needed to know. But the thing is, Alex, I was gonna do the same thing, but then I was like, "Yo, like this is the exam," so I was like, "Why not?" And then you know what the thing is? Like he would like I remember, right? First of all, I was sitting somewhere different at the beginning of the year. And then this dude moves me, Baldy, stupid shithead. He moved me because the kid that I was got moved like next to was like failing the class. So like I basically just saved his ass, and he knew that the kid was cheating off of me. There was no way he didn't know. So like I just went and saved him, and then one day I'm like showing him how to do like a calculation before a test, and then he yells or like he says out loud, he's, "Oh, no calculators on this exam," because like, and he said my name. He was like, "Because Kabir wants to cheat," and I was like, "Okay."
What? He just straight up
Well,
said that?
yeah, and I was like, and then one time like I go up there. This is like the only time I actually like felt bad because like he was I go up to him because I had to use the bathroom, and like he asked for my phone. And I was like, "Here." And then it was like right after it happened, he was like, "You didn't even need to cheat. Like I knew you knew what you were doing." And I was like, "Damn."
Damn.
He actually thinks I'm
Damn.
intelligent. But
Damn.
I was like, "Fuck you, Baldy."
Anyways, though, I feel as though didn't you also say that you thought that there was an actual student in the class that was conspiring against you?
Yes, bro. I stand by it.
I don't see how
Stupid
it works,
whore.
but explain.
Stupid. Okay, right? I'll explain it to you. Okay, so the person,
Oh, what's her name?
fucking, you know what? Fuck her, bro. Her name's.
Beep. No,
We're
I'm not
not
even. I'm
calling her
not.
that.
Nah,
We're not saying that.
you're gonna blur it out. Then you're gonna blur it out every time I say it. Fuck
That's
her. Okay, right? No,
uh,
but okay, right?
okay, go.
This girl. So she was like one. She was the third smart person out of like the class. It was me, Moose, and then this girl. And then okay, so right, one of the people that I sent the exam to was with my friends. One of my friends, like a friend of a friend. So I was like, okay, I don't care if she knows, but I'm pretty sure that the girl didn't do well on that exam, like the quarterly that we took. And then she figured out somehow, I think through the friend of a friend, that those exam like somebody had the exam. And then maybe like the girl didn't think that she was gonna tell, whatever. Like I think she knew more. I think she snitched, bro. Stupid bitch. She definitely snitched
No, but I don't understand why she would snitch on you.
because she didn't do well on it.
yeah, but
Or
I mean,
why
if
would she
she
take it out
knew,
on everyone?
yeah, if she knew that the 20 people had it, then if and she just wanted to throw off the curve, then she could have just said everyone had scores.
So what I think happened is one of the people that I sent the exam to told the friend of a friend, and then she like unassumingly told this girl, and then she just got bitter because she's a moron, so she snitched. If I'm being honest, the theory does not have much science behind it.
Yeah, because I
I
mean
just
that
made up my
exam,
mind. I made up my mind then, and I refuse to change my mind.
because that exam, if I remember, was not that hard. And to be honest, I think she was a tad bit smarter than me in physics, and I did pretty well on that exam. So I don't know why she would do worse on it.
See, I actually like that class. That was actually a fun class.
Yo, me and one of our friends. So it was me, Moose, and then two other kids in our lab group. Right, one of them we were friends. And then another kid was an upperclassman who was cool. But so me and our other friend that was in the lab group. So like, so at certain points, like me and the other kid were just like useless. So Moose would kind of just tell us like, "Oh, I don't need your help right now." So we started fighting with yardsticks, right? And he took the yardstick and hit my ankle with it. And I yell out, I was like, fuck, that shit hurt. And then I grab it back and then I hit him with it. And then Baldy gets up and he's just so heated. He's standing next to us. I look at him, bro. I could not keep a straight face. I just started laughing in his face, bro. It was so bad.
So you
It
got. So
was
he really did not like you. He had zero reasons to like
no,
you.
he did like me. Moose can even Moose, he definitely liked me.
Yeah, no. So you and one of the other friends, how do I call him? Cock. I'll just say cock. Those who know. Those who don't need to worry about it. So Cock think Baldy does not like him, but I don't think that's true. I think Baldy just had a very sarcastic. Yeah, he just had a very sarcastic
Yeah, Baldy
humor.
loved cock. Baldy loved cock.
He just had a very sarcastic sense of humor. So like sometimes he just says something and you're like, "Is that a joke? Really?" And like most of the time it was. So he likes to joke around with those who he likes. Like if he did
You
not
know
like you,
what?
he wouldn't talk to you basically. And he talked
Yeah,
to Koob and
bro.
Cock.
One, one time in class, Cock was on his phone, right? He used to play the stupid game on his phone, right? So he's sitting on the like he moved his own seat, like he didn't even ask. He just moved his seat, and then he's sitting there playing a game on, and then Baldy is teaching the class, and he's like, he calls out his name, and then he was like. Cock responds to the teacher that's calling his name, and he's still looking down at his phone playing his game. He's like, 1 minute, I'm playing my game. And he just went on with the lesson after that. That shit was comedy, man. It was so funny.
God, Baldy's class was the
That guy
greatest
just did
class.
not care. It was a fun
That
class. I
was.
won't dispute that.
So my story is about this teacher named Miss Bark. So my experience with Miss Bark was I forget what class I was in. I think I was in like accounting or something. But she was a substitute, right? And she was a substitute for a long period of time because my original teacher had some sort of surgery. And Miss Bark was the sub, and she was just always so passive aggressive against me. And there
You're
was this
just a
one
hater,
moment.
man.
No,
You're
no,
just
no.
a
There was this
hater.
moment that really stuck out to me. It was that she asked me to open the window. And for those who don't know, the high school windows are not easy to open. I don't care what you say. They're
I
just a
mean,
little
it
confusing,
was,
okay?
it was
I,
simple
I
for me to open.
oh no, they're just a little
Simple for
confusing.
me
Sometimes you
too.
have to push in, sometimes you got to push out, sometimes you got to twist the handlebars or something. So I was sort of unsure
Mm,
how to do it, but I tried, right? And I just couldn't figure it out. And she said some slick comment to me. I forget what she said, but something implying that I was stupid or like, oh, maybe if you studied for this as much as you do for your like academics, you'd act something. I forget what she said.
mm.
Something mean, right? And the whole
Al,
class laughed.
she's a comedian. Do you want her
No,
not to make jokes? Do you want her to lie to you, Al?
but it was
She was a great. She
but
was great, man.
no, no,
I
no.
think you're just off.
It was a joke, but it was like very passive aggressive, more so aggressive towards
No,
me.
but I feel like that's true about literally every single high school teacher. Like no high school teacher knows how to actually connect with their students, so an easy cheat code for them is just to be passive aggressive and sarcastic. And then you just get easy points with the students.
Well,
Like think about all the teachers that you like. All of them are just known for how they just have that sass, that sass. Mhm.
okay, yeah, but like not
That's
at
sad.
another student's expense consistently.
Alex, you're just over dramatic.
I might be, but that was just one moment where I was like, I felt
She
so
was. She was
embarrassed.
honestly. I actually really liked her. She was great.
I think she was all right. I think when it comes to substitutes, you would wish that you would have her if it was like for the short term, or if it's for the long term. If it's for the short term, you just wish if you get one of those substitutes that just don't care. Like
Yeah.
that's how my opinion is. Yeah. So for those who
Wait,
don't know, we had Alex's cousin as as
Wait,
our
she's your
teacher.
cousin?
yes, I
Oh.
thought I told you
You
that
said her last name.
No, I thought she was like.
she's married
I
into the
don't.
family. So no, not my
Yeah.
cousin. She's my aunt
Yeah.
that
She's
married
not
in.
a. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought she was your aunt.
Yeah,
So why don't you let her know on the Yeah, you're not a real Gaspar.
no,
Why
I'm not gonna say. I
God.
actually just went to a wedding and she was there, and my girlfriend also had her as a teacher, and it's just my girlfriend was there, and it's just so much different seeing your old teacher drunk, partying, flopping over, like
He was
can't.
wasted?
Yeah,
Alex, you need to invite me.
Please,
it was
please.
so weird because it's like you just see these people as just like teaching history and just in their classrooms doing work, and then you see them
And you
dancing
see them
to the Cotton Eye
face like
Joe,
that.
wasted, and
Oh,
it's
not Cotton Eye
no,
Joe.
I don't think it was
Yeah,
Cotton Eye Joe.
I wish I was at that party.
I was gonna say that's the whitest wedding ever then.
Yeah, it was quite a white wedding.
No, but yo, like what was her
Miss Bark.
Miss Bark? That shit. But when she was subbing for our history class, it was fun. Like she didn't like certain people. The one thing she would always clown me on, like she liked me, but the one thing she would always clown me on, my handwriting is like absolute dog shit. So like I would turn in my exams and like when she would give them back to me, she says like you need to write better. And I was like I genuinely can't write better. And then like when I would turn in my exam, she was like, "Oh, is this one gonna be like am I ever gonna be able to read this? And like she's always just clowning on me because my handwriting is shit. But she liked me, right? So then after junior year, when I was a senior and I had stats, right? AP stats. Our teacher went to India for like a week.
Miss Meat.
Miss me.
Miss Meat. Yeah, but yeah, she went to India for a week, and Miss Bark was our sub. So like the first day, so normally when we would have subs, Cock and one of our other friends would just stay in our class and hang out instead of going to their lunch, right? And then we would just sit there and like, clown around. So they were gonna do that, and then Miss Bark caught them. They were like, we went through the attendance, and their names didn't get called. So then she was like, "Why are you guys here?" And then she was like, "Get out, or I'm gonna call the like office and make you guys." And it was bad funny, right? So like, and then after that, like, she gave us an assignment to do, right? I do the assignment the way that Miss Meat taught us how to do it, but in the directions it said something different, like show all your work, right? But I remember what our actual teacher told us to do, and I did it that way. And then I was handing it to her, and she's like, "You didn't show your work." And this is the way our actual teacher like
Miss me.
showed us how to do it. Yeah, whatever. I was like, "That's the way I'm gonna do it, because that's how I like doing it the right way." So I just said, "I'm gonna do it that way." So then me and her just start arguing about it. I was like, "I'm not gonna add any work because I did it the right way." And then she was like, I could just tear this up and then you won't even have one."
Oh,
And then I was like, okay, like I mean, I did the assignment. And then she's like, "Oh, what is your teacher gonna say when she's back?" And I'm gonna be like, "I'm gonna tell her I did it the way you."
why is she so like serious about that? What
No,
the
but then the next day, right? Like the next day, she does attendance or whatever, and then like halfway through the period after I finish my assignment, she like calls me up to the desk, and like there was a chair like near the desk, so I like sat down. And then she was like, we were just talking about something else. And then she was like, "So what happened? Like you were so nice last year." And I was like, "I'm still nice. Like I just did like that was just the truth." And then we just started talking for the next like 10 minutes. But then after that, I was like, "Okay, she's cool."
This is Miss Bark talking to you.
Yeah, Miss Bark. Yeah. And she was just great. And then she was like, "Yeah, I always knew you had that side to you that if somebody pushed the wrong button, that you would just get angry at them." And then I said, "I wasn't even angry. Like I can't be asked when I'm in this class." And she was like, "Yeah, this is really boring stuff. Like I almost fell asleep the last class."
wow.
Like that was a teacher I actually genuinely liked. And I think she just hated you because you're soft.
Okay. So I know, audience, that you've been listening to this, and you probably have noticed that Al doesn't have that many stories about hating teachers as much as Koob and I do. And there's a good reason for that. So I was taking a group test, and my partner was Al. And this was in, what can I call her? Miss Sleepy's class. It was in Miss Sleepy's class. It was a geometry test, right? And so Al, for the entirety of that class period, basically did absolutely fuck all. He did absolutely nothing.
I don't remember that actually.
Did absolutely nothing. I was the one basically taking the test for both of us. Okay. And so,
What?
I just naturally was just working on Al's paper, all the work on his paper. And then I just basically, at the end of it, I transferred all of the answers that I put on Al's paper onto my paper. I was the one who did all the work. I just happened to do it on Al's paper. So we both handed it in, right? We both handed it in. She knows that we took it together because it was a group fucking test. Miss Sleepy knew that we took it forever together. And so when we got it back, I got half off because none of the work was shown. And I told her, "Oh, well, the work is on
Half
Al's
off
paper." And
meaning
she's
like
like,
half a point?
I got 50% on that test.
Wow.
Because all the work that I did, not you did, I did, was on your paper.
You know what my response to that is?
What?
Privilege.
Exactly. Most teachers just side with you, Al. Most teachers.
Al privilege.
So you don't have.
That's what you think it is.
Because it's the Al privilege.
I don't know, Al. Why do you think they do that? I would love to know.
Maybe it's because you didn't do it on your own paper, so she has no real
Al,
idea
it
that
was
it was
my
you.
fucking handwriting, and it was my paper.
She might not know your handwriting.
Oh my god, that's such bullshit. My handwriting is so distinct, so different than yours, Al. There's no way that she doesn't know that the work that was on your paper was my
Alex
handwriting.
always does this. Whenever there's like a scenario that's just so obvious and like something like whatever result people are trying to get at is so obvious. Alex always sits there like, oh, what if this? What if that? What if that? Like, why can't you just accept reality, Alex?
Because I don't think she just did it because I'm white. That's just
Al, you just were trying to come up with scenarios that Miss Bark hated you because she was sarcastic with you about how you were opening a window. I showed clear instance of someone screwing me over, and you're like, well, maybe it could be possible that
Alex,
this
you don't
could
know how
happen.
to open a window?
bro.
God, you are weak.
The
You are weak.
windows at the high school are not easy to fucking open.
Scrawny.
There's handles and shit, and it's like sometimes it goes in, sometimes it goes out. It's not easy.
Scrawny Al.
It wasn't because I was scrawny. I just didn't know how to work it.
Pussy Al.
That brings us to the end of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know if Al is a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to
No,
open a
no, no,
window,
no.
shits his
Whoa!
pants in the locker room,
Whoa.
and just does not
Alex, you
see
shit
clear
your pants?
favoritism when happens.
My God, what is wrong?
No, I am cutting that out. I do not want to be
Why?
known as
You're a
the guy who
shitter.
shat in the locker room when I didn't even shit in the fucking
Yes,
locker
you
room.
did,
If you're
bro.
on YouTube, go ahead and go listen to some of our other podcasts. They're pretty nice. They're pretty cool. I think you
If
might
you're
have a
on
good
YouTube,
time.
comment a 1 if you think Al shit himself. Comment a 2 if you don't. And we'll
You
let the
have to
audience
leave it
decide,
now.
Alex.
You have to leave it in
Unless
now.
you hate do you hate the audience?
What is this joke? Like, what did it even come about? I never shat myself.
Moose, Alex hates the audience.
He really does. Audience, go tell Al how much he can go shit himself more because he doesn't want you to have a voice. Do tweet at us with hashtag Al shat his pants.
Or Al's a shitter. Al's a shitter.
All right, man.
Okay, but anyways, that's will be all. See you later. Bye bye.